All right, kittens, let's talk about why manifesting isn't working for you and how come it isn't as easy as you think. So, I've noticed a lot of people feeling really frustrated about this, even though they're doing all of the right things. So, I just really wanted to jump on today and kind of give you my thoughts about this situation. So, when you join the spiritual community, there's really this like hard sell on manifesting, and it's really not your fault if you get caught up in the hype. Quite frankly, it sounds really great, right? Like all you have to do is think really hard about what you want, repeat a mantra, do a quick spell, and then like everything you've ever wanted just shows up at your front door. Sounds great, right? Well, at least that's what people want you to believe. Now, I think the spiritual community needs to kind of get off its high horse a little bit about this whole manifesting situation and how easy it is. I see so many people just glazing over or really ignoring some extremely important details. Now, and without these details, your manifesting practice is going to really leave you kind of feeling empty and disappointed and probably frustrated. So, let's talk about the other really important factors here that you need to consider. The first one is limiting beliefs. So, everyone's got a belief system that developed most likely early in childhood based off the interactions and the information that you received from the adult figures in your life. Some of us continue to carry these belief systems with us even after they become outdated. Or the other thing we do is we hold fast to ones that may not have been really true for us in the first place. So, this deep conditioning becomes an issue when we're trying to make moves in life, including, but not limited to, manifesting. So, deep down, these beliefs may actually be really holding you back from creating the life you want, whether you're aware of it or not. So, if you find manifesting isn't really working for you, try to direct your attention to what you truly believe. If it doesn't line up with what you're asking for, rewriting your beliefs is probably the first place that you should start. The second one we want to talk about is negative reinforcement. Now, it's really hard to manifest something when you're the only one saying yes while everyone else is saying no, especially when you're given a laundry list of reasons why this just isn't going to work for you. So, what happens is deep down that voice of doubt begins to creep in, and you might start really second guessing yourself. So, having a strong sense of trust and connection between yourself and the universe is really imperative if you want to be able to manifest successfully. So, this way you can have an honest and accurate gauge of whether or not what you're asking for is truly unreasonable. So, how many times in life have you really kind of been inexplicably drawn to something out there, but intuitively knew it was like the right thing, no matter what anyone else said, right? Like having those connections helps you drown out the negativity and navigate around problems or issues that are really standing in the way of what you want. So in order to manifest something, you have to really believe you can have it with every fiber of your being, right? Because your body knows when you're lying to yourself. All right, so let's talk about three. Lack of alignment. If you're living a life that's not in alignment with the kind of life you're trying to create, you're not going to be able to bring it about into fruition. If you want to be fit and healthy, you really can't make it happen by eating junk food and watching Netflix on the couch. I wish we could, but we can't. So when manifesting, it's important to be mindful and self-aware of what it is that you're actually asking for, and to make sure that what you want matches the choices that you're making for yourself. So the best way to really be in alignment is to know what your values are and to make sure you're in line with them. So if you're asking for anything that doesn't fit within these markers, you'll find it's probably next to impossible to manifest what you want. All right, number 4, lack of action. This is a big one, guys. So it's not enough to simply throw out a wish into the universe. You also have to take the steps to back it up. So this means if there's an opportunity to work towards your manifestation, if that shows up, you need to jump on it. Spirit never just hands people what they want, but it does open the doors that will lead you there. So pay attention. Now, manifestation without action is impossible. However, this is what a lot of us are actually doing. So let's talk about number 5, lack of healing. Now, when we haven't done our healing work, we're not in a place where we're ready to receive. So there may even be an element present of not believing that we really deserve to have what we want. And so that's why we really need to take good care of ourselves here in this area. Now, your external world is always a reflection of your internal one, what's happening in here. So if you don't like what's going on around you, it might be a really good time to look within and see what parts of you need a little extra love and attention. When we create space and healing in our lives, manifestation becomes easier. Now, 6, circumstances versus reality. So unfortunately in manifesting, there's an element of realistic expectations that is present. Manifesting is touted as some sort of like dream big, magical, like miracle kind of deal, when in fact there are a lot more gray areas to consider than you think. Now, one of these areas is working within reason and common sense, which seems kind of like a bummer, but you can't go to the moon if you're afraid of flying and bad at math. So make sure you determine if what you're asking for is possible or if it's actually out of reach. Now, however, there can be room for opportunities within the situation from time to time, so don't get upset yet. It's all about like what can you learn versus what can you change. Sometimes it's nothing, sometimes it's something. So ask yourself these questions and see if you can't find a loophole or a stepping stone to kind of turn the tides in your favor. The work that you need to do may be extremely difficult, but if you're really passionate and intentional about what you want, then many problematic situations can actually be overcome. The point here is to be reasonable about where you're at and what you're asking for. And don't be afraid to adjust your course if necessary, right? Like just because you decided doesn't mean you're stuck. You can make a change, right? So I hope that this information has been helpful to you and that maybe it will help you approach manifesting from a different perspective in the future. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching and stay beautiful.